Today, Glitch Productions finally released the trailer for episode 8 of the amazing digital circus. It reveals a bunch of crazy info and teases what the episode is about. Like usual, I'll go through it frame by frame, discuss what we learned, and give a couple theories as well. I hope you enjoy. So straight away, the thumbnail of the trailer shows Kane standing on some stairs that resemble the sky in a funny pose. This is a direct reference to the classic film called The Truman Show. Basically, in that movie, Truman realizes he's inside a fake reality TV show, so he picks up on all of the mistakes and odd details around him. The end of the film has him leave the set, being able to make his own choices in life for the first time. I think this is a deliberate parallel to Kane. Just like Truman, he's trapped inside something, which is the digital circus game. Kane is unable to leave, however, so this is what causes a lot of his internal issues. His entire existence is to look after and create adventures for the humans. So the first 30 seconds of the trailer are in an old-fashioned style, which is really cute. It tells the story of the lover without a heart. This is obviously referring to Kane. Basically, Kane wants everyone to love him with the things he creates, but it ends up doing the opposite. It says he ruined everything. So this is what the point of the episode is about, and what most fans theorized already. The cast are upset after 7, they don't trust Kane. He's going to have to make it up to them, otherwise he risks them outright hating him and refusing to go on his adventures. Right after this, it's back to the usual format. It's a bunch of quick frames from the episode. The first one shows Kane appearing in front of Pomni, Ragatha and Gangle. We see the cast hanging out together while the area around them glitches. Kane lounges in his chair in his office with Bubble, playing with a Rubik's Cube. Pomni looks shocked. We see Kane playing with another toy. It's a little hard to make it out, but it reminds me of those roller coaster maze games you'd see in hospitals or in the waiting room of a doctor's office. I think, like with the Rubik's Cube, this is another way they're trying to humanize Kane. He plays and messes around with toys when he's stressed or worried. This frame we saw already due to a sneak peek from Goose, but it's Ragatha and Kinger together. I'll discuss this more shortly, but I think a big plot point this episode could be flashbacks, a couple of which being the older cast members appearing in the circus for the first time. So maybe Kinger is the last human left, and then Ragatha joins. We see all the lights explode around the circus, plunging it into darkness. We see the globe from Kane's office glitch, along with one of the hand ornaments on the wall. This frame is really interesting. So it's Jax holding a cup of hot chocolate. This is clearly the hot chocolate him and his friends Ribbit and Kaufmo held during the photo in episode 7, so we're going to see a flashback of that adventure, seeing what caused those two characters to abstract. The cast fall from the sky, Kane turns around creepily, Zubul runs in a dark area. The cast look at Kane with a terrified expression while a portal opens behind them. The next two frames are quite unique. We see Ragatha's hands from her point of view and also Jax's. So I think this adds on to what I said earlier. We'll probably see Ragatha and Jax's first time in the circus. The next few frames are the characters looking scared in rapid succession. We have Pomni with Ragatha and Gangle behind her, Jax in a purple area, Ragatha, and Kinger. We can tell he's lucid in this because his pupils are small, so he's back to his normal self. Perhaps this shows Kinger before he went insane, or maybe he briefly becomes lucid again for whatever reason, and then finally confronts Kane. We see a scared looking Zubul and Gangle. Kane's eye glitches. The next shot shows Kane and Kinger by themselves in an empty area. So again, there's a couple ways you could theorise this panning out. The first is that this is a flashback of Kinger by himself in the circus with just Kane, maybe shortly before Ragatha shows up. This is backed up by how empty the area looks. It doesn't really resemble the way the circus looks now. The second is that this is the part where Kinger becomes lucid. The rest of the cast are somewhere else. Kinger becomes lucid and finally confronts Kane. If I was to guess what he asks, he'd probably say something about Queenie or Scratch. We see the cast around the living room area again. Bubble duplicates many times and Kane struggles to pop them, so maybe Bubble turns on Kane as well. This is one of my favourite frames of the trailer, but it's a perplexed looking Kinger with Queenie on his left. So this adds to what I said earlier. This could be a flashback showing what happened before Queenie abstracted. The alternative option is that Kane sends each character on an adventure in the past. So perhaps Jax is sent to an adventure with Ribbit and Kaufmo, Ragatha is sent back to her first time in the circus, and Kinger is sent back to the day before Queenie abstracted. This would explain why, for example, Ribbit has a voice actor. We're going to hear Ribbit speak. We'll definitely hear Queenie, Ribbit and Kaufmo say various things. It also explains why the cast are so shocked at Kane throughout the whole trailer. Kane knows they miss their friends, so he sends them back in time by making special adventures where they live out the past. This ends up working in the opposite way and makes them dislike Kane more. One of the main parts of Abstraction is that the human becomes very irritable and angry. They lash out at their friends. It's not a pleasant experience. So putting the cast members through experiencing their friends going crazy is going to make them hate Kane more. It'll also just make them feel worse. They couldn't save their friends, and now this adventure is a reminder of their mistakes. By the end of things, they'll be more upset with Kane and the entire circus as a whole. Personally, I'm happy with either option, but I'm really just excited to finally see some of these abstracted humans. We have a couple of frames left in the trailer. So we see Red and Blue, again linked with Kane. Kane glitches with electric in a dark area like in the sneak peeks. Kane grabs a chair and popcorn while talking to the cast. Pomni stands up and shouts at Kane, getting her mouth zipped. So I think firstly the cast share their concerns with Kane and doesn't really take them on board, just taking it as a massive joke. Secondly, it shows that Pomni especially is turning on Kane. They're all becoming a bit like Zubul, they're sick of the circus and the way Kane acts. Kane teleports Kinger away, we see a car crash, some weird creatures leave a picture, there's a couple shots of the CNA office, Bubble stares at Kane, Pomni looks shocked again, and lastly Kane says, let's get this show on the road. So with all of the frames covered, what do I think will happen? Personally, I think the episode will start off with Kane in the dark area. He's thinking of what to do. The circus is clearly starting to glitch and fall apart, and we know from previous episodes that it's tied to Kane's mental state. Kane probably knows that if he stops making adventures and the cast turn on him, the game will become a mess, so he does one final attempt to try and win everyone over. He sends them on adventures, a few being in the past, or we just see these play out as flashbacks. The CNA office will play a role too. Maybe Pomni finally visits it again, like in the pilot. The end of the episode will probably have another revelation, carrying on what we learned in the previous episode. Maybe Kane finally gives up at the end, and the game just fully starts to collapse in on itself. That would tie into the final episode being the cast either trying to escape the circus, like what Pomni did in the pilot, or they come to terms with everything and live out the remainder of their days in the circus. So, what do you think? Are you excited for episode 8? Let me know down below. As always, thanks for watching.